So this should be a quick video because I kind of lost the passion and motivation to do it. First off, shout out to the two brothers that reached out to me via email. I will get in contact with you and probably set something up for this weekend, like Saturday. Usually Saturdays is when I do like my mentee or mentor talks or talks with my mentees in terms of like anything IT and stuff like that, and help them along. Like I told one of the brothers, and again, this is no offense, and I do want to say this as a quote unquote disclaimer and not to be so harsh. I felt I was somewhat harsh, but just setting boundaries for myself in terms of 2023. What I'm trying to do and moving forward is, protect my time, protect my peace, and all this other stuff, right? That I always talk about. And one of the things is that I'm not going to be putting a lot of time into people that don't want to put a lot of time into their own craft or what have you. So if you're a person that shows progress on their own, then I will help you. But at the end of the day, it is up to you. If you want to make more money, there's so much more money out here in tech. The guys that are into tech, embrace ChatGPT, embrace AI, embrace learning and knowing these tools, because that is how you're going to make more money. I think it's Fireship.io. He just came out with a video how to make money off of AI. Hold on, let me YouTube that. Let me go off topic at the beginning of the video so it happens later. I'm just I think it's like Fireship.io. Yeah, Fireship. So YouTube channel Fireship, and it says 5 ideas for your own AI grift with ChatGPT. So go ahead and check that out. Anyways, with that being said, moving on to the subject matter. I talked about, I mentioned forehair, and I guess this is like, something that's just been, a lot of things have been inspired or motivated off of that. And I guess something I'm not moving off of or anything like that for now. I don't really watch that channel much. I have seen it in the past, but sometimes you see these things and there's just so much you can just like pick out of it, And one thing she talked about was just like, she doesn't think you really need fathers in the home. If you watch and you can get it from her, from her mouth in a sense. But if you watch the Talking with a Kevin Samuel supporter video, which is a little bit on the older side, it's like been like a week or two. It's a little bit back in the catalog, probably within the last 10 videos of me making this. And in that video around the 43-minute mark or so, because I made a comment that was timestamped at the 45-minute mark. So probably around the 43-minute mark, but you may have to go a little bit further back, probably like 42 or something like that. 40 at the most. I don't think it was that long. But at that 42-minute mark or so, she talked about like, not needing fathers in the home. And then at the 45-minute mark, because I didn't really want to comment on that, but like something made me comment where I was, one of my own, not agendas, but one of my own like philosophies or thoughts that I'm coming out with is, I guess you could say agenda, but push the deal. Ed talks about pushing women if they want to talk about, you can get better than black men and all this other stuff. Cool. Push them to date out. Push them to divest. So on and so forth. And his idea or thought process behind that is push them out so that they can go ahead and see what's really out there in the market. Not so much so that they can come back to us, but really they can go out there and, in a sense, calm down, I guess. Because it's like, it's not what you think it is. Like, you could say whatever you want, but we're probably treating you better than most men out there. Or most men out there would, especially when it comes to cultural and stuff like that. And a lot of stuff is like, they just don't like being alongside the sin eaters or at the bottom of the totem pole of society. So one of the things that I talked about in that let me see if I can find it. Since I have it, my Google Photos. Where is it? Hold on. All right, there. I think it. Okay, cool. So at the 45-minute and 10-second mark, if we are forming a new social contract, I think we should make a deal or a contract that does not involve the state. It would be something like surrogacy, with an agreed payout at the end. Both parties uphold their end and separate when the time comes. The men that can afford it can even do things like buy a home for the mother or help in other areas like school, or help the woman start a business or something like that. You can think of Russell Simmons and Kimora. All right, I think her name is Kimora. This will work until artificial wombs come online. This is kind of what you guys should have seen the title by now, but I'll title it like "Only Eggs" or something like that. Which that domain is taken. I checked it out, but it is for sale for like $3,700. I don't think it probably wouldn't be the the best thing, the best name for it in terms of that space and that like kind of profession, so to speak. But Only Eggs would be freaking hilarious, and I'll go into that in a second. This will work until artificial wombs come online. I think BGS would like some shit like this. At that point, it's 6 minutes. Okay. At that point, men just buy eggs like women, get donors, of course, at a higher price due to scarcity. And I put that higher price due to scarcity thing because it's true. Like, men make a whole bunch of semen, so you can pretty much get it for free. And all you're really charging is for, maybe what they paid to that guy for his semen. And then, all the costs for insemination and stuff like that, right? But really, I think we're going to move to a society, I'm talking about the deal, the social contract, and it was funny, and this is why I mentioned what For Harriet said, where she talked about, hey, we don't need fathers. Let me turn this fan off, sorry. We don't really need fathers in the home. And I'm like, that's funny because, that's funny and that's interesting because what that means is that, really all you do need is sperm donors. And this is what women have been moving towards anyway, or have been doing for a number of years, I should say, and kind of moving towards, but the cheap route. You're just going to find some guy, have a one night stand or have a relationship. And then as soon as things go wrong or what have you, or you feel that, he's not giving you what you want, then you just skedaddle, right? It's a little bit cheaper. And also you get the payout, especially if you can attach to, or what's it called? Not attach, but, take his resources in any way, shape, or form. And the word take can be used or can be said is like that's a little bit harmful or harsh. It's more or less like acquiring his resources for the care of the child, right? So and so that's interesting. So it's like, okay, well, what if men wanted some type of service? Like, what if men wanted to control something like that, and they have things like an artificial womb so that they can just, hey, listen, I just want this, I want a Kim Kardashian like egg, I want an egg from a 4, like I want an egg from a 4. I want to trace her lineage, see if anybody in the NFL, from the NFL, was what's it called, was in her family or something like that. Some wild shit, right? Like let's look at her genetics. She has C4 hair, I'm just thinking about that shit. Only Eggs. So women, instead of doing OnlyFans, they can make a lot more money just by selling their eggs at 10 to 20 grand a pop. And I start off at a number like that because if you look at the scarcity of all the eggs that a woman has, I don't know what the number is, right? Like, let's say they start, man, how many eggs do women have? Like, let me Google that. How many eggs does a woman have at birth? Ugh. Trust me, this is not some sketchy child stuff. It can start as early as 8 years, but again, most people are on the age of 15. The number of these eggs is steadily reduced so that the baby is born. They have between 1 and 2 million eggs left. How many eggs are humans with ovaries born with? A fetus, early development, a baby with ovaries has around 6 million eggs. Wow, that's a lot more than I thought. I mean, I wonder what happens. Like, why do you get so many? Oh, okay. How many eggs remain by puberty? When you reach puberty, you have between 300 to 400 eggs. This decrease is caused by the fact that more than 10,000 eggs die each month before puberty. Whoa, okay. So there's eggs already in. Whoa, that's oof. After starting the menstruation cycle, a person loses about 1,000 immature eggs every month. Oh, wow, holy crap, that's crazy. How many eggs remain in the 30s? When you reach your early 30s, fertility begins to decrease. It declines more rapidly after your mid 30s, according to the. How many eggs remain in their 40s? That means when you only have. Oh, right. According to this, you'll be 15 years until you reach menopause. Huh. I'm trying to read through this where I just don't keep on like. Why does egg quality decrease as you age? Oh, wow. What goes on with your eggs at menopause? Okay, so I do want to read this part. If you're in your 40s, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to how many eggs you have left. What's more, certain factors such as smoking may mean that you have fewer than another person of the same age. Research has shown that the average premenopausal woman over 40 has less than 5% chance of getting pregnant per menopausal cycle. The average age of menopause when the menstruation cycle stops is 51 years old. Okay, that means that when only 25,000 eggs are left in the ovaries, around 37, according to the 2014 data from ACOG, you'll have about 15 years until you reach menopause on average, and at menopause you'll have fewer than 100 eggs left. Okay, so yeah, you'll have eggs even into the latter part. It's just, I think when it comes to birth, so I mean, you can only, because everyone's different, there's also different factors, but I mean, maybe $10,000, $20,000 an egg might be too much. Maybe you have to be like a IG model or something like that. I don't know, but I think it'll get to a point where like we'll probably start to see where women will be okay selling their eggs, and then it just goes into an artificial womb, and then the men can just take custody over the kids. I was gonna say women. That is, oh my god, that is so misogynistic. I can't believe I said that. But I'm always thinking that. So yeah, so I think we're gonna go into like a whole. I think we might go into something like an onlyeggs.com, where you just go on there and shop for eggs, or like Trist.link. Link. You'll have like an eggs.trist link, right? Where you can go on there and start picking out what eggs you want. Yeah, and it made me think like, if we're gonna define a new social contract, and if people are okay with saying. And honestly, when I listen to like a For Harriet in terms of how she explains certain things, something in my head just screams Brittany Renner, because it's like not outwardly saying that she's like a Brittany Renner or anything like that. I really don't put that on her or anything like that, and I guess I don't want to be too disrespectful or anything, but it's like being rebellious for the sake of rebellion, right? Like, you know, some of the stuff she was saying in that video, I was just like, what? You don't need fathers. Like, that really just kind of sounds like some Brittany Renner shit. Like, you know, you just being rebellious or going against, nuclear families for the sake of just going against nuclear families. And yeah, and the thing is, people can have an explanation. Like, I want to say she covers it up by having an explanation, right? It's just like you have an explanation for how you feel and what you think, right? And you know, I guess I can't really harp on it because men in this space will do it too for one reason or another. But I see that and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then now we're seeing these 37 to 40-year-old women, you know, millennials are starting to age out or have aged out already. And they're in their, the oldest of us are 42, 43 now. As of like, January 1st? I think the oldest of us should be about 43. So it's like when you see that, you know, kids from 1982 are like 43 now, and these are still considered millennials, or, you know, bleeding, or like, you know, the transitionary from Gen X to millennials. So when you start to see this, it's like, Jesus, man, like you really think to yourself, wow, this is going to be normalized. Like, this is going to be quote unquote okay. And that's the thing that kind of gets me a little bit, is where I see that or I hear that and I'm like, okay, man, yeah, this means things like an only eggs would not be far off. We won't, like, if it isn't out there already, it will be okay. It will be so normalized that you can just go to a place and just sell your eggs and then, like, just have them scoop it out of you like caviar or something like that. And then you can go ahead and sell those. Like, think about that, man. This is where we're moving to. And, like, honestly, I think to finish it off and to kind of collect the thoughts here, but I think we should move towards creating a new social contract. And in the new redefinition or the creation of the social contract, there are things out there that we can use or leverage the current sciences and the sciences that we have out there in terms of like birth or child rearing, sciences in terms of birth. I don't know the right way of saying it, but the act and the making sciences around making kids, and then also raising children, right? Like, other services. If you have only eggs, then it's just like, you might have only fathers or something like that. And then the only fathers could be like, or fathers that only eggs, right? Like, because I don't want to be only fathers sounds like, it sounds like dudes like, doing only, anyways. But fathers that only eggs, and that could be like services that cater to single fathers, right? Like, I'm talking single from the get-go, don't even know who the mama is. Like, I just picked up my kid today. First steps for new dads. Yeah. Fathers not only eggs. First steps for new dads. Check out my new book. So your kid was born from an artificial womb. Where to go to now, or how to move from this point now. I'm laughing about this shit, but we know this is happening. We've seen this in movies and all that. We've seen this in movies, TV shows, Altered Carbon, Blade Runner, like all these things where they're making androids, automatons, like they're breeding people in bags. We've seen it in Matrix. So like this is shit where we've been not made accustomed, but we've been slowly pushed towards it. We've been like slightly like acclimated, or we're making it normal, so to speak, right? Like having robots, having AI and all this other stuff. Ex Machina, like that movie and how that worked, so we're starting to see these things, man. There's countless other movies. Those are the ones that I've seen or can remember. But there's countless movies out there that are pushing us towards, doing this, pushing us towards this being normal. Like, yeah, like it's really getting to the point where a chick can say, actually, it's already gotten to the point for women. They can already do it because they already have the womb built in, right? So what happens when the womb becomes available for the father, right? And then you're going to see where people like men that want to do this, they'll put it out of the reach of like a whole bunch of men at the lower strata. Like it might be like $1 million deal to like have a womb, to have like an artificial womb for a man. Like it won't be like, I can go, oh man, let me just go on a website, order a kid real quick before I go and do my workout. Like you're going to have to not just like, it won't be for the plebs, so to speak, the lower rungs of society and all that other shit. It'll be for men that actually are more well-to-do, have more money, and they can say, all right, cool, let's go ahead and do this. And that's like everything, right? Like because it's like an expensive thing, and it'll be years before you get to a point where it will be cheap enough or affordable enough, whatever you want to call it, to where plebs or peasants can just say, oh, let me order a kid and name him Atreus, and then he can call me father or Kratos, and I can just say boy the whole fucking time. But you're going to have like fathers not only eggs, man, and like helping services and nanny services and all types of other services that are out there. And some of those services might be provided or done by, not automation, or automation, but robots, androids, and things like that, right? Like you already have Roombas and shit. Like, I don't really need cleaning ladies, but like I like having a cleaning service. They come out, they get the corners and stuff like that. But actually I do need it because there's other stuff. But in terms of like, getting the floor on a regular basis, I can get a Roomba and do that. And then it'll be a lot cleaner, and so they have a lot less that they would have to do. And actually, I need to get one. I need to get one for my shop. But this is where we're like starting to really see that we're gonna do, like, some things like that are gonna happen. Like, we are going to move towards where that'll be normal. Only eggs, and then all the services around it. It'll be a cottage industry. It really will be. There's an industry. Oh my goodness. All right, let me end it here. I do have a meeting I gotta get into, and I have to get some stuff together for tickets and all that other stuff. As always, thank you so much for listening. I wish you guys all the best. Peace. Love you all.